If you observe a pathological narcissist, you will see where they will put on a charming face for the external world. But when it comes to how they operate in private, this is the polar opposite. So this shift creates a sharp split between their public image and again their private persona. So oftentimes you'll see where when they are at home, they'll let loose. But when they go out in public, they'll be calm and smiling. Oftentimes they are selfish and self-centered and egotistical when they are in private, but when they are out in public, they are very supportive with other people. And this will make you think, how comes everyone thinks this person is wonderful, but they treat me so poorly and horribly? Now, people, I hope that on your healing journey, it is becoming abundantly clear to you that all of this is a part of the narcissist facade. They have to put on a good guy mask to the public because, again, if everyone knew who they truly were, they will lose their support. They will lose their supply. So know that pathological narcissist people are not naive. They're not knowledge impaired. They are empathy impaired. And empathy is the ability of putting oneself in the other's shoes. So pathological narcissists are empathy impaired because they do not have any empathy to give. This is a part of their pathology, along with pathological lies, along with their false sense of grandiosity, along with their excessive need for attention, admiration, and validation. Again, this is a part of their pathology. And again, this is patterned dysfunctional behavior. Narcissists have a pattern. So understand that you're dealing with someone that at their core, they are shame-based. And when we're talking about shame as an emotion, shame is directed at the self. Shame is linked to our self-esteem. Now, when it comes to a pathological narcissists have pathologically low self-esteem. Self-esteem so low that they would probably have to look up to see it. So it is little to non-existent. And this is why they need excessive amounts of attention, admiration, and validation, because what it is now is that you have to boost their ego. And the ego has an insatiable desire to be fed because the ego has to be fed from the outside. So they are based in shame and they're not facing this shame. What they actually do is they try to run from this shame and then they get to pride. However, they are unable to let go of their pride. They are unable to let go of their grandiosity and their false sense of superiority. So because they are unable to let go of their pride, well, pride cometh before the fall, and they fall right back down to shame. That is what you're dealing with when you are interacting with a pathological narcissist. Someone that is in a shame pride cycle. And they have been stuck here in this shame pride cycle since their developmental years because pathological narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, which overlaps with antisocial personality disorder, that which you may commonly call sociopathy and or psychopathy, again, is a type of psycho-spiritual arrested development. So again, these individuals have some elements missing. So think of this similar to unripened fruits. Now, where do we get unripened fruits from? Unripened fruits come from plants where that plant did not get enough nurturing in the form of nutrients that plant needed to grow, in the form of water, in the form of sunlight, again, that plant needed to grow to develop a fully ripened fruit. So the fruit developed, but it developed unripened. It developed, but it is missing some elements. And you'll hear me state often on the channel that unripened fruits are like those horrible grainy apples that you find in the supermarket. When you bite into them, they taste like cardboard. There are some elements missing. And Mother Nature herself will tell you that you should not be eating that fruit because something is off with that fruit. Something is missing. You should not be eating that. And similarly, when it comes to pathological narcissists, similar to, again, unripened fruits people, you can't put unripened fruits back on the tree because they're already fully grown. So when it comes to a pathological narcissist, well, you're dealing with an adult, but these adults have arrested development. They are missing some elements. Something is off, something is off about the way they think because they're losing their minds. Something is off about how their emotions work because they're based in shame and they cannot move past their pride. They do not have access to courage. They do not have access to love. They do not have access to empathy. They do not have access to peace. And again, something is off about their willpower because, again, these people cannot control themselves. They are impulsive and very compulsive. And again, something is off with these individuals, people at the spirit level, because they started to dissociate from their spirits, from their true selves in childhood. Instead of growing their spirit, instead of being spiritually awakened, these individuals have identified with their ego. They have identified with the mind. The ego is a mind-made construct. So understand that pathological narcissist people do not want to truly take the mask off. They do not want to have their own ego death to spiritually awaken. Because when you question them, you'll see where they'll have a narcissistic injury. And a narcissistic injury is when a pathological narcissist perceives a threat that goes against the grandiose false self, that goes against the ego, that goes against the mask. So the problem is we are not our ego. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we have access to tools, namely our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions. But when it comes to a pathological narcissist, they abandon their true selves in childhood. They abandon their true spirits, and instead they identified with the mind. They identified with the ego. So pathological narcissists believe that they are the ego. And if someone believes that they are the ego, they believe that they are the mind. And if they believe that they are the mind, then they are losing their minds. And not only are they losing their minds, they really are losing their souls. This is why you'll hear me refer to them as dark souls or lost souls. And this is why clinicians refer to this as a personality disorder. The entire personality is disordered. Again, they are disordered at the level of mind power, willpower, and emotions. And again, pathological narcissism is a psycho-spiritual illness because at their core, they are dark because they abandoned their light. They abandoned spirit. They abandoned source. So what you really are dealing with here, people, would be very similar to what you know as a zombie. So flesh is walking around on this planet, but there is really no captain at the helm. The captain abandoned their ship. The captain is overboard. The driver is in the back seat. So understand that at a spiritual level, pathological narcissists are drifting deeper and deeper and deeper into the sunken place. And understand that the sunken place does not have a bottom. There is no bottom to hell. Hell is a dimension. It is a spiritual dimension. Energy has no end. So they continue to drift and drift and drift deeper into the sunken place because they won't let go of their ego. They keep attaching to the false self, the false narrative. And this means that they live in a completely separate dimension. They live in a delusional reality. So they'll be walking around here, people on this planet, but they're not really here. They are somewhere else. They are in the upside down. They are drifting deeper and deeper and deeper into the sunken place because they are lost souls. They are dark souls. Again, the captain abandoned the ship. There's no one really there operating the tools because the driver is in the back seat. That is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a pathological narcissist. So when they go out, they put on a mask. And depending on who they go around, they put on different masks because they are mirroring the people that they are interacting with. So understand that on day 0, what you're interacting with was a mask. You cannot truly know a pathological narcissist because 1, they do not know themselves, and number 2, you cannot truly know them because technically they don't exist. They did not develop. What they developed was a false self, an ego, a mask, which is a pretense. You were dealing with a stranger in your house, and I'm sure it took a little bit of time for you to figure out, but again, you cannot truly know a pathological narcissist. They don't exist. They are the figment of their imagination. What they do is they create another mask and another mask and another mask and another mask because you are dealing with a total fake. It is of the utmost importance, people, that you do not follow pathological narcissists in the dimension where they are at, because they are in the first dimension. Again, they are in the sunken place. And if you continue to follow them, you will eventually feel lost yourself because you are now attached to them and drifting deeper and deeper and deeper into the sunken place. The sunken place is where spirits go to die. You have no business in the first dimension. You have no business in the second dimension. You have no business in the third dimension. What you should do is get the courage to walk away and stay away. And you'll find courage in the fourth dimension or higher. So again, get the courage to ascend, get the courage to walk away and stay away from these toxic personality types, because all you'll find in victim abuser consciousness is victims and abusers. You cannot grow with a pathological narcissist because they embody destructive energy. They are not evolving, they are devolving. They are not progressing because pathological narcissism is regressive. They age like milk. They do not age like wine. They do not get better with time. Any relationship that you get into with a pathological narcissist is going to crash and burn because the ship that you are on is the Titanic. And the Titanic only goes down because pathological narcissists are drifting deeper and deeper and deeper into the sunken place. And that is the trajectory that they have been on since their childhood years. So again, people, do not follow pathological narcissists. Get the courage to ascend. And as you continue to ascend, you'll see where you'll continue to heal and you'll feel better, because you'll feel better the higher you go on the Hawkins scale. Again, you have no business in the third dimension. The third dimension is not a place for chosen ones, for light workers, for star seeds. The third dimension is a black hole, and black holes only consume light. And that really is the message for today, kind folks. Thank you all for your continued support. Ensure that you are liking these videos. Ensure that you are subscribed for more empowering content. If you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. Sheikah is the name. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.